Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
I'm going to start that over again because she's here. Our aunt is here.
Okay.
And she's not my aunt. She's our aunt because she is somebody who's incredibly intuitive. She's an intuitive life coach. She has psychic abilities, mediumship abilities. She can do tarot card readings. She can really help plot your life path. And it's great to have you with us. How are you, Aunt Betsy?
I'm doing great. It's so good to be here.
Great to have you with us. And I've talked to life coaches before, but you're very different, having the intuitive side. So can we dig into that right now? How does that work for you? Is it when you meet with somebody and you're gonna work with them as a life coach, do you have kind of a feeling for what they're after just because you've kind of tapped into their energy?
Yes, I do. I usually see their auras and their energy as we're doing, the pleasantries, and I get a feel for who they are and what they're looking for in life. And then we move forward from there. It's being an intuitive life coach gives me that advantage that we can start at a deeper level than most coaches or even most therapists.
Yep. I totally understand it because nothing wrong with therapists, but sometimes it takes time to get to a certain point. You might have to go for 3 sessions before you're really at the point where you're at the therapy or the coaching level.
Right. Exactly. So with me, we can start at a little bit deeper level and get to the heart of what you want to know.
So I want to know, and I'm sure a lot of people ask this question, if you're a medium or a psychic, does that mean that you can connect with the other side as well?
It does. And a lot of times during readings, the person I'm reading for, their relatives, friends who have passed will come through in the reading and will help with messages for them.
Wow, fantastic. Because I firmly believe, and I'm learning this more and more in my journey, that our future, our present is kind of dictated by our past, our childhood, whatever it might be.
Yes.
And you have to pull that out before you can move forward in your journey. And I would imagine as a intuitive life coach, you're going to pull that out pretty fast.
Yes, I do. So we don't, like most therapists, they have to go through all the stages of the childhood. With me, I get a sense of what that childhood was, and we can just move forward.
Wow. Before we move forward in our talk here, I got to find out, how did this all begin for you? When did you realize that you had some intuition and wanted to be a life coach?
I was at a funeral when I was about 4 years old, and I saw the body in the casket and standing next to the casket. And I was a little confused, and my grandmother explained it to me.
Wow. I can't imagine, the good thing is you were 4, because if you were 40 and that happened, I don't know that anybody could have handled that at that moment.
No. So it just kind of all made sense to me at that moment of what I was. So it's just an ability I've always had.
Amazing. Tell me some of the things that you've pulled from somebody in doing your life coaching, like a interesting situation or even a success story. Anything stand out in your mind recently?
Most of my clients in the last few years have been people wanting to start businesses.
Okay.
Because they got through the pandemic, either got laid off from jobs, got their jobs cut to part-time, wanted to start a side hustle in case they did get laid off or their company went out of business. And so I've had a lot of successes helping people define what their business is, because they come to me and say, I want to, I've got this product and I want to sell this product, and what do I need to do? And we work through, what that product really is and what it means to them and why they want to sell it. And we get to a different place where it's not so much about the product itself, but about what they're building as a business.
And I'm sure a lot of them comes out in terms of their relationships, how that steers the business, their emotions and everything.
Yes. And we deal a lot with their fears of starting a business. You know, a lot of people are very comfortable showing up to work and being handed a paycheck. And then when they have, their own business, it's a whole different way of life. And we really work on that way of life as well.
Yes, it is. And I own a business, and I was just doing invoices before because I'm in between bookkeepers. I got it.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with it in terms of starting your own business, it's a great thing. It's a great thing.
Yes.
There's other things involved there that you might not be aware of. So you might want to talk to
Right.
and Betsy over here, and just be armed with what you need to know.
Yes. And
Let's
I do have some clients who are they want to start a business, but they're afraid of like the sales aspect of it and talking to people to actually sell their product. So we do a lot of work on why they have that fear and where that fear came from.
I want to talk about intuition for a second, because a lot of psychics or people with some type of ability like that say that we're all psychic. We all can do it.
Yes.
We just
Yes.
need to be able to tune into it. Do you feel that way?
I absolutely do. Because for quite a while of my life, I did block it out. I just ignored it. I just kind of shut it down. And it did take me a while to get it back. I also have one of my best friends was very intuitive as a child, and she shut it down. And I've been working with her to open up her psychic abilities as well. And it's really coming along very nicely. She's become very intuitive.
Wow. So is it a skill that you work on as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of meditation is involved to really tap into those long forgotten parts of our brain, the subconscious. And that's really where the intuition comes from, is back in the subconscious.
So it's almost maybe you need to get into a meditative type state to really tap into that.
Yes. Yes. When I was first trying to get my abilities back, I would spend a lot of time meditating and really just letting my mind wander back into the deepest corners and reaches inside my brain to really pull that information out.
I think I speak for a lot of people when it comes to meditation. I'm going to be blunt. Yeah. I suck. I'm horrible. Yeah. It's hard to get there. You know, I could even tell you like 3 years ago where I felt like, oh, and I was using an app. I was like, all right, I'm there. It's so hard to get into that zone. What's the secret? What's the secret?
I don't know that there's any one secret for anyone. When I meditate, I actually set a timer that I'm going to, meditate for 30 minutes. And then that gives me the ability to set all of those daily worries aside. And I can just sit and meditate and really let the information come to my conscious mind.
Somebody told me this, and I don't know if you or somebody else does this, but they visualize themselves in an elevator and they went to the bottom floor, elevator opens, and they walk in onto a beach. And that's their meditative, that's their location. They press the button, they know that's how they mentally got there, and they're on the beach, and that's how they see things and feel things. And then when they're done, they get back in the elevator and go back up.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I have not done that. I'm going to have to try that the next time I sit down to meditate.
I actually want to be on the beach. Yeah, but I don't know how many elevators lead out to the sand.
Yeah. My house is right on a little man-made lake. So I go outside and, just look at the lake and let my mind wander and get into that meditative state.
Love it. So you also do tarot card readings, right?
Yes, I do.
Some people tell me that they do tarot card readings, they do oracle cards. You do both or just tarot?
I'm just a tarot reader. Our oracles are a little different, and I have not taken the time to learn those, because tarot is definitely a learned skill.
Sure. And you know what? That is the baseline. That's everything. Tarot, the oracle cards, from what I understand, are a more positive version of tarot cards. So tarot cards really tell it like it is, and it runs a lot deeper. So to have that skill, you're good to go.
Yeah, I like tarot for that reason, is it does go deeper. It does get into the story of your life, and not the story we tell ourselves, but the story that we're meant to live in this life.
Hmm. When you do a tarot card reading, a typical one, how many cards do you pull?
When I do readings for my clients, I pull 10 cards, and I do what's called a Celtic cross reading. And that goes back to my Celtic roots. I identify most with the Irish part of me.
Same here.
Yeah. So so I do this Celtic cross, and it goes through, where you're sitting right now in your life and what the challenges are, and then what you want, as well as what the universe wants for you.
I love the way you put that, and Betsy, because I'm learning more and more about the universe and how
Yes.
important it is, and it is what it is, and
Yes.
how you need to put things out into the universe that you want, because you're probably not going to get them unless you do. And don't be afraid to ask for those things. Might not get them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It goes back to the Old Testament in the Bible, seek and you shall find.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. And it's a phrase that has come to my mind in the last year or two. It will all be revealed. It will all be revealed.
Yes.
Whatever it is,
Yes.
it'll take time.
Whatever it is, yes.
Yeah. Give everybody your website if they want to reach out to you, connect with you, do a reading.
It is askauntbetsy.com.
And bravo to you for locking down that domain name, by the way.
Yes. I have been known most of my life as Aunt Betsy. So when I wanted to start this business, it just made sense.
Yeah. So along with tarot card readings and being an intuitive life coach, any other services that you offer people?
Not at this time.
Okay.
The intuitive life coaching is where I am focusing my energy.
Got it. Yeah, I didn't know if maybe you did Reiki. Sometimes people with your skills may do something else as well.
No, I have several friends who are Reiki masters, and I would rather refer people to them because they are amazing at it and have quite the talent for it.
Gotcha. So I never ask, but I'm kind of curious. Any possibility that you may be able to throw or pull a couple of cards on me?
I can. I will do a 3-card reading for you.
Sure.
And that will lead us into the most important part of having a session with me is the question you want answered. And I have a guide on my website that is 9 tips to ensure a life-changing tarot reading.
And I'm looking at that now, by the way.
Yes. And that is, if you go to my website, askauntbetsy.com, there's a big link that will send you to that guide.
Yeah, and it's super easy to read, by the way, very well laid out. It's not super technical. Yeah.
No, I wanted it super easy. Let's just give you the information that you need so that we can move forward and get you on a path to a life that you love.
Yep. And I love that. So tell me what you're doing. Do you shuffle the cards first? How's that go?
I do. First, we need to talk about your question. What do you want to know about? Career, love, finances.
It's like
family issues.
In fact, Betsy, I feel like I just rubbed the bottle and the genie came out and I'm 3, and I have to make them count. And can I make them? Do they have to be connected to each other, or can they be completely independent questions?
They are a past, present, and future for the 3 cards. So we ask them a specific question, and we see what that question has been doing for you in the recent past, where it sits with you right now, and where the universe has you headed if you stay on this path.
Oof. I feel challenged for the first time in a long time.
I'm glad I was able to challenge you.
Yeah. So when we talk about the past question, give me an example of what that would be.
Well, it's just one question that you ask, and I pulled 3 cards around the one question.
Okay.
The most typical question is, what do I need to know about my romantic life? What do I need to know about my business? What do I need to know about a family situation?
Okay. I only have 3 questions. I got to make them count. So they are going to center around the same thing. Is that's what we're talking about?
Well, it's just really one question.
It's one.
We are asking one question, and then there's 3 cards that answer that one question.
Okay, so I'm living in the present. This is a present situation that I could ask lots of questions. I have lots of them.
Yeah.
This one, and tell me, and if this question isn't good, we'll come up with others.
Yes.
Should I buy a house I'm considering? And there's an interesting situation surrounding that, which we don't need to get into. Should I?
How about instead of saying should, because there are no shoulds, how about what do you need to know about the house you're buying and the decision you need to make?
That's perfect.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I am shuffling up the cards now with your intention of what you need to know about this house and the decision to buy it.
This is so cool.
Okay.
And it's not an easy question for me to answer because of situations surrounding it.
Yes. So you got a card that I don't get very often. So I just want to double check something. Okay.
Of course I did.
Okay. Yes. So there are 2 types of cards in the tarot. There are the minor arcana, which are all that day-to-day stuff that you deal with. And then there's the major arcana, and those are your life lessons, the things that you came to this earth to learn. So your first question is, or your first card is your immediate past. And we've got strength, which is a major arcana card. And the strength card is all about compassion. And can you see the card?
Yeah.
It's all about compassion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And within this decision, this card is telling me that you are maybe a little too compassionate about the situation and the people who are selling the house and all the situations around them selling the house, that you have a little too much vested interest in what's going on with them instead of the transaction.
Fair enough.
Okay. So with strength, it's really good to have strength, but you need to balance the compassion that you have. And I'm so sorry, my cat has decided she wants to sit on the cards.
Hope she doesn't leave anything on my strength card. Just saying.
No. So strength is a really good place to come from, but you got to balance the compassion, because you are in, since you're in the media world, you always want to know all of the details. So a lot of the details aren't necessarily things that you need to know to make this decision. Okay?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So your second card, where you're sitting at right now, is the Hangman. And I love this card. It's all about letting go.
And that ends our broadcast. Kidding. Tell me more. It's not a bad thing, is it?
The Hangman is all about letting go and finding a new perspective. So around this house purchase, you need to look at it a little bit different way than you're currently looking at it.
Okay.
When I also used to be a professional photographer, and I took a photography class in Paris one time, and we were walking down this one alleyway photographing stuff, and isn't this all really cool? And we got to the other end, and the instructor said, okay, let's turn around and walk the other way. And it was a whole different experience. So you need to think about that with this home purchase. Look at it from the other side and find a different perspective of it that may make more sense than the perspective you have now.
Gotcha.
Because then your third card, which is the future, is the Ace of Cups. I also do numerology. Ace is the number 1, and number 1 is the beginning. So you're going to be at a beginning of a whole new journey very soon. And cups are emotions. And in your case, it's very happy emotions. It feels like there's definitely a new home in your future. and it feels like it is this home. But you need to look at it from a little bit different perspective, make the offers from a little bit different perspective than you are now. And you can have this home and you'll be very happy in it.
Interesting. And I'm not going to give up any details because I don't need to, but I'm going to say everything you're saying is at this juncture, and I'll know more in a few days.
Yes.
From what I do know, I'm going to say you're like 90% on target. And the other 10%, I won't know, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the reading for right now. Tomorrow or the next day, different things happen.
Yeah.
The sellers could change what's going on. A realtor could do something that they're not supposed to. So things can change. But at this moment, it looks like this home is a really good purchase for you, and you're going to be very happy there.
Interesting. And there, to your point, there's a lot of emotion involved.
Yes.
Should look at it from a different perspective. You're totally on target. And that's not, you wouldn't normally say that for, buying a house, but in what we're talking about here, 90%, like it's right. You're right on target with it. You really, really are. So let me ask you, we said past, present, future. The present, am I right that was the hangman card?
That is the hangman card.
Okay. And just overall, that's not a bad thing.
No, the hangman is a really good card. I like that card.
Wow.
Some tarot readers don't, but I do. I think it's a really good card.
So scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the cards that you pulled for me, being very strong, positive overall. Where would you put that?
I think they're very strong cards because you have 2 major arcana cards. So you have 2 life lessons within this decision that you're making. How to balance your strength and compassion and your need to know every detail.
Yeah.
And your ability to let go and let the universe guide you through this process.
Let me make that 95% accurate. Because I processed it again, what you're saying. And yeah, what you're saying is definitely resonating. That's it. I don't, 5%, I'll let you know in a couple of days. And I'm not just saying that because you're with us today. I'm fully transparent, always honest. That is what you're saying is it. That's it.
Good. I'm so glad.
It's pretty crazy that you can pull that out from just a deck of cards, of course, with your experience, intuition, and reading it.
Yes.
Has there ever been a time where you've pulled cards and it just there's no connection to the situation?
There has been times, and it's because the person that I was reading for wasn't really intent on the question they asked. Okay. They had a lot of other things on their mind, other things that were going on. So the cards came out based on what they truly needed to know. And I have a lot of people come into my coaching sessions with what they think they already know about the situation. And then I'm able to tap into their subconscious, into that information that they don't know that they don't know. And it comes out as a whole different reading than they expected. But it was all information that they needed to hear.
When you think about it, not to minimize, life coaches, they're all fantastic and have different specialties.
Yes.
What you're doing is just moves it so much further and faster into where you want to be and what you want to find out about yourself, your life, your future, and all of that. Wow.
Absolutely. Because I just start at a different level and we get to a different level than non-intuitives do.
Yeah. And it's not like this is all like crazy psychic readings. No, you're just tapping into energy and information and a path. Tell me about the process where I can't believe, we have a couple of minutes here. How it works when somebody reaches out to you, they go to your website, and where do they go from there?
They go to my website, and I have 2 readings that I do now. We can do it by email. Some people don't want to talk to me. They just want to, at 3 a.m, they want to toss a question out to me and see what comes back. That way they can go back to sleep and not worry about it until I get them an answer. Or we can do a video conference or in person if you are close enough to me. And I've also done them over the telephone, but I prefer seeing the person. Gives me a little bit better sense of their energy, and I can read their body language a little bit better to see how they're receiving the information.
How long does a typical reading take?
A typical reading is about an hour. And I start with the Celtic cross reading, and we go through all of that. And then if they have follow-up questions to get a little bit deeper, get a little bit more information, get some more clarity, then I do some 3-card readings to get them that additional information.
So you would do a series of 3-card readings, as that could be part of it?
That could be part of it, yes.
Okay.
I want to make sure that when we're done, they have all the information that they desire to move forward in their life.
This is fantastic. It really is. And when somebody, like, even if you looked at astrology, sometimes it's hard to interpret. Somebody will explain it to you, but I don't know anything about these, seventh sun, Saturn return. As much as North Node, as much as I really want to, just read me my chart. Tell me what it says, specifically what it says, what the future is going to be like, and be clear. You're very clear, in terms of what you do.
I do. I like to give my clients those straightforward answers.
Yeah.
So that they can move forward, because my sugarcoating it or my not giving them all the information doesn't do them a service. And I really want my clients to have a life they love.
Has there been a time, Aunt Betsy, when there's been some information where you're like, I don't know if I should give that up, or I don't know if they really want to know that, or you're just, here it is.
I have had times where I've been a little leery about giving some information, and then I did. And the people were very happy that they got the information, because deep down, that's what they were really looking for.
Yeah. Like, let's say there was a situation where somebody's other half wasn't being faithful, so to speak. That came up in the cards? Would you say something?
And I have said something. One of the most interesting readings that I did was for a friend of mine and his wife, and they were both sitting there. And as I was reading for her, a second husband kept coming up. That she was going to have a second family, a second everything. And I didn't know how to approach that since he was sitting there. So I finally just told him, I'm like, this is what I'm seeing, that there's an ending to your marriage, and that she finds somebody else and has another happy marriage. And it turns out, after I shared that information with them, that that's what they were really looking for, because they were trying to decide if they should continue to work it out or if they should get divorced.
Wow. Drop the mic, if you will. Wow. Interesting. And when you were saying that second, I didn't know if you were referring to maybe that she was with somebody who is married, right? And that family.
No.
Yeah, it was a.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, the reading was that they were getting divorced and she was going to have a second husband.
Aunt Betsy. Wow. God bless
you.
Stuff like that.
So, even though I didn't want to give up that information because they were friends of mine, I decided that it wouldn't serve them with me not. And it really helped them that, that it was time for them to get divorced and learn how to co-parent and move on with their lives.
Wow. Fascinating. And I truly mean it.
Yes.
Fascinating talking with you today. I'm looking forward to the next time we get together. And if you have any questions, if you need to move your life forward, and with somebody who can really plug into you and your energy, or even tarot card things, you have questions, Aunt Betsy is available. AskAuntBetsy.com is her website. And again, I feel like you're our aunt, like you're there for us, like your aunt is.
I am definitely everybody's Aunt Betsy.
Yeah, it's been great talking with you, and I look forward to getting together sometime soon.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you can now listen live on the MyTuner Radio and online Radio Box apps for iOS, Android, and the Amazon App Store. Or check us out online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on onlineradiobox.com/US so you don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.